What if I told you the way it has always been done is not the best way? Facing your fears will change your life. The passion behind this journey is merging two separate worlds into one with the goal of creating value and awareness for a better life.
I'd rather be sidelined trying to achieve greatness than watch greatness achieved and it only set on the sideline. Now introducing your host, Jacob Emery.
This episode is brought to you by R&R Pipeline, an infrastructure company. Our purpose? Enhancing America's infrastructure with a safety-driven, integrity-led culture that provides an environment for team members to grow and thrive. Welcome to another edition of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast. And we are back from this executive suite room with Cory G.
What up?
Cory G Fitness.
In the house, baby.
Dude, commitment. The word is powerful. Commitment followed by action is, that's a superset like no other.
Mm-hmm.
Truly willing to commit to something and doing it, seeing it through, and not letting any roadblocks in the way. You commit 100%, confidence of 51%, pursuit 151, as I call it, and your life forever changes. Confidence grows, and then you just continue that cycle throughout life. Whenever challenges come, create opportunity out of them. Adversity is nothing more than an opportunity to get better somewhere. I want abs. Dude, we're coming down to the end of the year. And I know for me, like Nate Saxton, his brother, committed to that. They never looked back a couple years ago. They're still getting it. Changed their life.
Yeah.
But it started with that commitment.
That concentrated time frame of commitment is what everyone needs. And, that's why I think it's like what the dangle, the carrot, right? The carrot is that we're giving away a Mercedes, which I'm proud of. The dangle of the carrot is that we're giving away a Rolex. And third prize, boom, night on the island to yourself. And it's going to sound funny, but you get my island for a night. I swear I didn't just say that out loud, Jake. But the reality is, like, this prize pack is an ultimate carrot dangle. So if you can't get excited to pursue those things on top of all the benefits that you're going to get to developing yourself for 10 weeks, 12 weeks, it's unbelievable. So I'm excited about it. And the reason why I created this is because part of the reason why any of us would get better in these concentrated time frames is because we'd have a date on the calendar that was a powerlifting meet, date on the calendar that was a bodybuilding show, and you've competed in both of those, so you know how that feels. And and I would do that also for the magazines, and I would just have no choice because I would be fully 100% committed to that date, to the ultimate discipline that I needed, and that's what everyone needs. And I'm really just trying to provide that for them.
Dude, it is so profound to think that you're going to give away all that.
I know, that's wild, bro. I didn't even know if I'd own that shit myself, let alone if I would give it away.
That's insane.
This will be the 6th Rolex I've given away.
So tell the listeners what they have to do to get signed up. Is all that information?
Yeah, so everything will be at maxeduppermuscle.com. Danny and Cole worked on an amazing landing page that I think, honestly, out of all the years, this will be the easiest process to understand exactly what you need. You'll get products. I've got everything laid out for the diet and training. It's a blueprint. You just got to follow it. I mean,
it doesn't get any easier.
It really doesn't. Now, it's difficult from a standpoint of you got to actually put some work in, but that's with anything, right? But you could truly, in that 10 weeks, look completely different, feel completely different, operate completely different, and, build a confidence and a momentum for yourself that is going to be truly life-changing. And so what I'm excited about is that, coming into this, I think, like I said, it's a 6th year. We've had thousands of transformations. It's really pretty wild, Jake.
Well, dude, and it's so cool because you're creating this massive community, the subscriber events, which are epic, which you dropped a little bomb on me, a little nugget there a couple weeks ago. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Having that community of people that are constantly getting better and led by you, this has been your lifestyle for so long, and you're just cascading out for everyone to get an opportunity to be a part of it. And dude, it's pretty powerful to see, I'm not telling you what to do, and I'm not doing it. I am in the trenches, quite literally, before 90% of the world is even out of bed. You've worked out for an hour, lunch for a half hour, done your personal development. I mean, you're in here, you're getting on like your scuba gear, going outside in the Arctic tundra, like freezing
Not
your
putting them
ass
coveralls
off.
on like I'm working at R&R Pipeline.
Yeah, I got that blue collar work. And it's funny to see you get all dressed up in here, like,
bro. It was funny. The Bourne brother, Jacoby Bourne, was in here, and I'm putting them coveralls on. 'Cause you know he owns part of that trash business.
Yeah.
He goes, "What? You just cold?" Like he thought I was just putting them on to like go home.
Right.
I was like, "Nah, bro, I'm about to go lunge out at the track for a half mile." And he looked at me, and goes, "You're about to lunge a half mile." That was the day it was like 1 degree out. I go, "Yeah, that's why I got these coveralls." He's like, "Damn, okay." Like he just kind of like was like, "All right," you know, he's an ex-athlete, played at Ohio State or whatever, so that was pretty cool. No, I think that I was just talking about it this morning. Today was the high of maybe 20. So this morning it was
high. It was like
it was
5
cold
degrees,
as shit
like
this morning.
probably -10 wind chill.
And so when I went out and lunged this morning, and for you guys that don't know, it's walking lunges, a half mile at the track, so just 2 laps, knee got a touch, no extra steps. And I'm looking at like those just never get really that easy.
Never.
Like even when you're good at it, which I've been at multiple times in my life, you still have to like choose to do it. You really got to choose to do it when it's 5 degrees.
Yeah.
And I was here till 9:30 last night.
Yep.
Back up at fucking 3:45. So but that's just like that's the expectation and the standard. The key is with like the I Want Abs contest, you don't have to follow my schedule. You just have to be able to get in what I believe are the requirements to get better. And we have tried to maximize that 30-minute weightlifting workout, 30-minute conditioning. Yeah. This is exactly how the diet's laid out. This is exactly what supplements to take. Like, I'm not asking you to guess. I'm telling you what I know works.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
Dude, time management is so simple.
Yeah.
And it is so looked past often. I mean, I'm going to an even more extreme level now, like we were talking about before we started recording, but like I have an energy time audit every hour of my time that's allocated to business or personal. It's documented.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get better. So where am I spending my business time at that is giving me the biggest ROI? If I'm not getting a big return on that, I'm not going to be probably doing it. If I hate doing it, I absolutely shouldn't be doing it. And I'm trying to transition fully out of having to do something I hate.
Sure.
But an hour of time is not that much. It really isn't. Mm-mm. We operate at a pretty high level, and there's been multiple nights it's close to bedtime, and we're still here, and we're here.
I think we're doing that. Jake ain't left yet.
There's been a couple times.
Yeah, but Jake ain't left yet. Yeah. I ain't fucking leaving.
Yeah,
it's like Kobe in the gym.
Yeah,
he's like. I think Jason Williams, who played for Duke and then played for the Bulls, he said he went to the arena and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go early." Kobe's already there. He's already sweating. He's like, "So man, I'm shooting for like an hour and a half." Yeah. He's like, "I left. He's still working."
Yeah,
and he waited him out.
Chris Ball said the same thing. Like he was going to go beat Kobe to the gym. He got up an hour earlier than everyone was supposed to be there for practice, and Kobe had been there an hour and a half and stayed after he had done left.
I love it, bro.
Just next level mentality.
That's why I'm wearing. I collect jerseys. I've got 7 Kobe jerseys. Yeah. So I've got it. So when I'm feeling like some vibes, like I can go a whole week of Kobe. So I've got the high school jersey. I got the black, Lakers, the 24-8, the McDonald's All-American. Yep. What's interesting, I was building my first business heavy when Kobe played all the time. So I didn't really watch a lot of the games. So mine is more of just like the mentality, the interviews. Obviously I watch like the NBA championships and stuff, but that whole mentality, I super fuck with it though.
Yeah, dude, I was like prime Jordan era. I was a kid, but I was obsessed with the Jordan Bulls. But then when Jordan left, that star was Kobe. I remember like the 98 All-Star game. And I was like 9 years old. I was born in 89, so I wasn't very old. But I remember like Kobe guarding him, and that was like cool. That was the moment where it's like passing the torch is going to happen. And so it was super cool. But that dog mentality of just, this is what I'm going to do, and there is nothing to stop me.
Nope.
Commitment is massive, dude. I think the simple little things done, the compound effect, the habits that you can establish by just saying, I'm going to do this thing for 30 days and we'll see what happens after 30. And it's one day at a time, but I have to go 30 in a row. There is no option. I have to.
there's things that I fall on and off of, but there's some things I just have never fell off of. And the reality is those are what's contributed to me having a more successful life.
The iron foundation is massive.
Dude, massive. And I think like I realized that because a lot of people ask me, why are you still doing this, or this? And my answer is always, well, if it keeps working, why would I stop?
If it makes you feel good.
Yeah, if it makes me feel good. And maybe your perception of it is that it's crazy.
Yeah.
But my perception is that it's normal.
It's crazy not to.
Correct. There you go. Yeah. So I think whenever I often feel like I live in the opposites world.
Same.
It's been very apparent lately.
Same.
And so like it's and I'm actually gonna read a quote, which I don't know if I've read on one of your shows before, but I think it's important. And I just sent it to one of my clients about the unreasonable man quote, which I'm not sure if you've heard it before or not.
I'm sure I've heard it.
You've probably heard it. So it's the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself.
Ooh.
Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man.
Man in the arena, right?
Yeah, and you know, E.T. said something the other day where he said the intangible is what allows the magic to happen. And I think that when you're super committed, you're focused, you're dreaming, you're pushing, it allows these like intangible things to happen that you can't just like create otherwise. And you have to have unreasonable thoughts and unreasonable expectations of yourself to push to another level. Mm-hmm. It's all just part of it.
If you are dreaming for a better life, if you want a different life, it's not something that most people are going to understand because they don't have the same desire.
No.
We have to dream. The dream has to be almost unfathomable, unrealistic.
Yeah.
Borderline delusional.
Oh, I think it's absolutely delusional, especially from where like any of us started, right? It would look extremely delusional. Right. And I think that part of like moving towards the delusion, thinking it's possible, is part of the great part about it. Like, you know, a lot of the things that happened to me, like, you know, I wasn't moving with that exact thing, but I was just moving towards it with a lot of belief and a lot of faith.
Dude, the mindset component, you commit to taking action on something you want to change, break down your reality. You know, I call it, it's the iron built blueprint, but you break it down, you build a bridge, and then you do the build up.
Yeah.
Break down your reality, assess all your pain points, face them for what they are, and swallow your pride, swallow the ego. Like, this is what I'm going to have to overcome to get better.
Yep.
And write down all of them. The ones you cannot control the outcome of, the interest rates, the economy, things like that. Scratch them off and fucking forget about them because they don't matter. What can you control? Top 3 to 5, prioritize them 1 through 5, focus on one until it's done, and that's it. And just be so intentional about it.
Bro,
Wake
that
up
other
early.
stuff that people like really have no control of, but it controls them. It is not what it's
detrimental to your well-being.
All
it really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
I got a mindset thing I want to share too, Jake. Let me grab it real quick. But that always drove me nuts because I'm like, you're consumed by this situation.
The media, the news, stuff of that nature. You can't.
That's why I haven't watched any of it in so long.
Yeah, same. While you're looking that up, I got one
go ahead, please.
Just thinking about having faith in your dream come into reality. Both faith and fear demand that you believe in something that you can't see. So faith and fear demand you to believe in something you can't see.
That's hard for people
You
to
just
grasp,
have to make the choice. So if you can be fearful of something, why can't you have faith in something?
Oh, people are way more fearful than they're faithful.
Absolutely.
And I never understood that.
Me either.
Because, first off, and back to like Kobe, when he would be taking those game-winning shots, he's like, the fears created, it's the same shot I made yesterday. It's literally the same. It's still a free throw. Mm-hmm. And it's like you start to process things a little differently because you're the ones associating the fear with that situation. Yep. That always was. And now that's where I think it comes back to things are scary, but I'm not scared. That's because you're moving forward with uncertainty. That is a little scary, of course, but is that going to keep you from ever trying it? So I don't understand that.
The only thing I fear in life is being on my deathbed and looking back and having regret of not trying.
Yeah.
Which I don't ever see that being the case, but nonetheless, like
here's the only thing I want to. So Here's how I used to be. And this was like something I did on my presentation the other night. Victim mindset, waiting for the change. Risk was scary. Lack, not worthy. Didn't know how to change. Needed a mentor. Needed guidance. Like that was like my baseline, right? Just what I saw, what I was taught, what was happening. But here's how I am now. Winning mindset. Don't wait. I take action. Evaluate risks differently. Abundance. Worthy. I know exactly what it looks like, and I'm curious and always getting better. That's now my new baseline, and has been for 20 years. But it's like when you're leading in this other way, you're only seeing that more pessimistic, you're on the other side of the equation. But dude, just because this side of the equation is the default now, doesn't mean I don't understand that there's these other things that have to be handled. I'm not sticking my head in the sand. I'm just saying I'm leading with this kind of mentality with a confidence that I'll be able to handle those things along the way. And to me, there's two ways to live this life. I'm going to choose to be on the positive side, which, by the way, does have a different vibe to it. And people want to be around people that feel that way. It's just the fucking truth.
Dude, optimism, being optimistic about the outcome being good.
Yes.
Regardless of the reality of that outcome, if you think it's going to be good, your mindset's thinking it's going to be good, it actually will be good, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
But if you think it's going to be bad, it will be bad, regardless of if it's a huge win, it could still be bad if you think it will be the whole time.
Of course.
We plant these seeds and then expect what grows to be different than what we planted. And it's like, you planted the seed for a reason. If you're watching the media and you're feared based about everything that you're consuming, why don't you consume something different?
Yes.
If you don't like the show,
works out.
if you don't like the show, change the channel, G. And
that's
the
true.
reality is, so many people don't like what they have because they haven't done the thing to overcome it. They are stuck in that rabbit hole. Dude, you want to get out of the hole, put down the damn shovel. And the reality is, so many people are scared to face that. But it also ties into like self-sabotage with entrepreneurship. So you think about self-sabotage people, and we know a couple. Whenever they do that, it's because it's comfortable. Because actually figuring out the problem and overcoming it is the hard part.
Yeah.
But sabotaging something when it's going good, it's more comfortable because that's what you've always had.
It's what you're used to.
And you don't feel worthy of the other thing a lot of times. So just getting over that, like, I'm not the person that I was before, and I'm not defined by what's happened. I define myself by overcoming what happened, and that's my guiding point the whole time.
What I always think too, Jake, is like you hear, and I don't know if you read it today, but I sent out the investor email, and it's like you hear people saying, "I'm built different. I'm built different. I'm built for this." I actually built this sitting here, like because it wasn't this way, like you know what I mean. And so there's a different vibe that comes with like the actual reps, like anything, whether it's business, the gym, the mental side, and so like taking that serious and like curiously learning and like really going down the stuff that I knew I needed to get that much better is super important. And some of these are some of the questions kind of piggyback off what I just said that I'm always asking myself, like, why not me? How do I want to operate? What's my life look like? What's my perfect day? What do I want to work on? What group can I help? Where's my intuition pulling me? Like that's in the optimistic sphere. Then I'm also kind of thinking like for the future unseen situations, what do I want to do with this life? So I'm asking myself those, because when I'm asking myself those questions, I'm looking for the actual answer that is like the true answer of where it's pulling me.
Focusing on the solution.
Yeah.
So I have like a 5-step problem solving guide I created for myself, but the premise of it is getting the facts, dealing with it non-emotionally, and 10% of the time is focused on the problem, 90% on the opportunity or the solution. Because whatever you think about, whatever you look at, whatever you put your time and energy into grows. If you're skiing down a hill and there's one tree on that whole entire mountain and you just keep telling yourself, I'm not going to hit that tree, you're going to smack the damn thing head on because you're focused on it.
Sure.
So what you focus on is what you attract. And it's really easy to think like, if I get up early, if I do the hard thing first right out of the gate, develop my body, then develop my mind before my day starts, before the sun comes up. Go do my thing all day. I'm going to get significantly better every day or every week or every month.
Of course.
And over time, I'm not going to recognize who I am anymore.
You won't.
And neither do the people around you.
You got to create like that. You're essentially creating like a shield for yourself to be able to like handle the shit that's going to be thrown at you. I mean, it's really like you're running yourself through almost like a mini boot camp every day, for lack of a better way to explain it. And if people can really look at that, they're creating these habits to become more resilient, more successful, more confident, you know, and that's just what it's done for me. I mean, forever.
And it's on us.
Yeah.
Life is a mirror. It's not a window.
Facts.
If you're looking for outside validation or outside blame,
Yeah.
you're just looking out a window. Look in the damn mirror because it's on us. Ultimately, there's nobody in control of our life but us. And if we don't have what we desire to have, we don't deserve it. I hear people say, "Oh, I deserve to have this or I deserve to have that." Do you have it? No, not yet. Well, then you don't deserve it. You desire it.
I had
You
somebody
just
say
haven't earned
that
it
to
yet.
me, and that's hard to hear. I think the fact that people taking really control, knowing that they truly are in control, and that that the other person isn't, or they aren't. Like, I think the sooner you figure that out, that's really important.
And lack of accountability for yourself creates insecurity. Because if you can lie to yourself and negotiate with yourself on doing the hard thing,
It's true.
it's known by you ultimately. So if you're not willing to go do the lunges on the track today, not only is everyone out there like gonna know because you put it out there on blast,
That
to
is
hold
the
yourself
accountability. Yeah.
but you would know.
Yeah.
And
I'm not okay with that.
dude, when the lights are on, what you do in the dark paints the whole picture. If you are not doing the hard work when the lights are off, when there's no audience there,
Yeah.
you get on stage, you go do your speaking event or whatever you are doing when the lights are on,
You get sniffed out.
it's going to be exposed.
Yeah, that's why, like, I think I've always rubbed people that have fake confidence the wrong way my entire career.
Because,
Well, because my shit is real.
yeah,
And I'm not going to tell you about it. You're going to feel it over time because I earned it through reps. And I've got my ass kicked so many times that I've had to come back and build myself up. And over time, I end up wearing out the person where it's not true.
yeah.
And then it becomes very evident. And then there's always a problem.
Well, growth is about improving yourself. It's not about proving yourself, where you're not trying to prove anything to anybody. You're just trying to get better every day. That's what the ultimate prize is all about. The process is about continuous improvement.
Yeah.
And that's what we thrive on, dude.
It
and
is.
like we create our own little competitions like, yo, I'm gonna outwork G today. I'm gonna be here 20 minutes after him.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. And it's like them are just little edges that we
Yeah, of course.
keep to competition created for ourselves. Because ultimately what we want out of life, ain't nobody gonna go get it for us, dude.
No.
The reality is
You gotta look inward, not outward.
Yes.
That's the biggest
Yep.
thing, bro. Like, you start looking inward first, even if it isn't that way. I go, okay, this isn't going the way I want it to. Maybe there's 9 reasons outward that it is, but what's the inward reason really why it's not going well?
Yeah. And do you learn?
The sooner you do that, the better.
You know, good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. So you think
that's
about
true.
everything that's happened. Are you repeating the same mistakes? Are you doing things over and over again that led you down a path you didn't want to be down? Life is really pretty simple. The more that I've learned, the more I realize I don't know. But certain things are true. If I want something in life, I have to make it a priority and I have to focus fully on that. And I have to be willing to turn down the shiny opportunity that looks great, but maybe it's just not time.
Yeah.
And I've always respected this out of you because you're very good with your time and aware of it and able to, whether it be cut off a conversation or go do this or go do that at this time.
I did that this morning in the gym.
Yeah, you did.
Not with you,
Yeah.
but with one of the younger guys, which I love, and I'm going to make time at a different time. He
Yeah,
gave me,
I
he gave me the, hey, can I pick your brain? I said, no.
I was
you hear
standing
me?
right by you, yeah. I didn't even talk
And he
about
kind of looked at me and go, you can, just, no, I'm not giving you that time today. I said, you know why? I protect the time, bro.
You got to.
And it's about my motherfucking
Dude.
money.
Dude,
and he looked at
nobody-
me and he goes, I get it.
Nobody's going to protect time like we are. no
Yeah,
one cares
bro.
about our time the way that we do. And we only get so much of it.
Yeah.
And it's really not that much
Speeding
time.
up too, Jake.
It is, dude. I have my first old man moment. I went to the high school. I was speaking to the high school kids, and I talked about when I graduated high school, and I thought, holy shit, it's happened.
None of these guys are even born yet.
Not even born yet. And I was like,
You
oh
old
my
motherfucker.
God.
That's
The
hilarious.
gray hair's coming in.
That's
Dude,
hilarious.
my God. Steve Jobs had a quote, remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big decisions in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, pride, fear, or embarrassment of failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important.
Yeah.
And you think about...
It's hard to keep that perspective.
Dude, it is hard, but I think part of our growth is being present, understanding life as a gift, and having the ultimate level of gratitude. And I think the ability to be vulnerable over, the years, I don't know this thing, but I'm going to relentlessly figure it out. Just like the island, right? Like, you're vulnerable enough to take that on, talk about it. Dude, that's a remarkable accomplishment.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. It feels like it, now looking back where obviously like the meat of it's done, it's, yeah, I think part of it is probably because I was, didn't know, like, I don't know what you know. Like about construction, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what Jim Havens knows, like, or Steve. I think like I could feel it when they were telling me about it, probably because everything I was talking about was all new knowledge to me.
Right.
But I sound like I know my shit because I do at this point. And, so I think moving forward with a little bit of naivete or however the fuck you say that was probably really good in that project. And like, I just knew a couple things. One, I needed it to remind myself that I'm that guy, which I think is really cool, right? Because I've done things in magnitude multiple times in my career that required a similar thing as this. I think that what I didn't understand about is maybe how people would view, obviously when you have your own island, doesn't matter even if it's in Ohio, that's going to change the way people probably view
I got my own island.
Yeah, right. But I think that people that I really respect from all walks of life, the way that they kind of talked about it, because I was really trying to capture it moving forward with that. Hey, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to figure it the fuck out. Hopefully that it would inspire some people. And I feel like it did. And the way people looked at it, yeah. I mean, I'm sure people are like, fuck this guy, he got his own island. But yeah, cool. I'm not going to invite you.
Yeah. All right. You're not
I'm
going to
okay
get it
with
right
that,
now.
you know what I mean?
Well,
but I had a hard time saying it for a while. I would talk to people, Jake, and reference, I bought a property over at the lake. It's up around the corner. And then as they would start talking to me, like I'd almost have to say it.
Yeah.
So I went out of my way not to say it for a while. Now it's more of a norm. It still sounds funny. And when I say it, people always kind of chuckle at me, but
it's not ego driven though. It
really is.
And we just talked about confidence.
It's legacy driven. Like I wanted to build a piece of property that is part of a legacy of what Cory Gregory and his family represent.
Hey, G, I got
Straight
news
up.
for you.
It's
built.
Boom.
She built.
Hey, you know what was cool though? First thing Pat McAfee says to me, I see him at college game day. I'm backstage. He comes through, daps me up, which was real cool because I hadn't seen him in a little bit. Dapped me up like I was a teammate, like genuinely like happy to see me. So I thought that was cool. And he was like, bro, you got a fucking island? Literally, he went, bro, you got a fucking island now? And like the people standing around me looking at me like, what the fuck? Who's this dude? So it just goes to show like it was one of those separators that I kind of knew that, but I really didn't know that. You know what I mean? But no, but I just spent my first night there the other night and it was exactly what I hoped it could be. It was extremely calm, quiet. There's a stillness out there, obviously on the water at night. You obviously don't have any neighbors. So it's like... you
don't have anyone walking up to knock on your door?
Yeah, no one's just pulling up. You know what I mean? And so, there's going to be some awesome content that's created there. I'm excited about it. And some unbelievable family memories.
And maybe a book or something too.
A couple of those, I think. And, I'm having my cousin's reunion, which my family on my mom's side is start to kind of get back together a little bit here and there. Having a cousin's reunion there next year, which that'll be super cool. A lot of these people had never really been around any of my stuff, any of my businesses, and they never really like taken part in anything. We're not like super close, but I think like it's starting to get back to there. So I think that'll be super cool. Yeah, I just think it's like unlimited, really. So
That's wild.
the
dude.
whole
That's-
thing's unlimited,
yeah.
Jake.
But you think about it, like that's what commitment does.
Yeah, this is honestly, like I had to explain this to a lot of people. Like this thing is not just a thing that happened in 2024.
You don't just wake up
No.
one day after a year of commitment and say, I'm going to go buy an
No.
island and develop it. It's never been done in 100 years.
It's 25 years of commitment that, and honestly, the last 10 years of my dedication to learning more about finance and understanding more about money and just really pushing myself to be have delayed gratification in my investing. That's what really provided that opportunity. And yeah, so no, I'm super proud of the whole thing, man. And like, I'm excited for more people to like see what it's about. Pretty cool.
It's epic.
Yeah, thanks, man. That night was really, I don't
Dude, that
use the
was
word
special.
magical. It was like magical,
Dude, it was
special.
It was something.
It really is just something that I don't think anybody that was there will ever really probably forget.
No, and I had a lot of gratitude for it because I remember, I mean, we went out there on the boat with Peters that
first
day.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And to have both you guys there was really cool because Brian was kind of a late being able to make it. Obviously, I knew you were going to be there, but like having both you guys there, knowing you were literally taking me on the boat the first day
I
and
remember
me
when you
evaluating
mentioned
it.
Yeah. You mentioned it to me in the gym. It was a Thursday morning, and you said something about Dustin Lynch and following your program on Twitter, hit you up on Twitter, and like, and I was like, okay, that's random. And then it was another day with Cory G Fitness in the morning, right? And then you're like, yeah, I think I'm gonna buy Island. I just seen it online. I'm like, what?
Dude, finding it on Zillow is epic. Like
That is
everyone
so
I
good.
tell that's in like real estate, they literally shake their head.
Yeah.
Like, where do you find that? Zillow. What? I don't see that on my Zillow.
But not only that, then you're like, yeah, I just got this utility thing. I don't know how to do that. And I'm sitting here like, this motherfucker's got to be joking right now.
I wasn't joking.
I was so funny because this big hurdle that you could not figure out or didn't know who
I was
like,
processing that was honestly, like, Jake, I can pretty much say with 95% confidence I probably wouldn't have done it if I didn't know you could help me with it. I mean, it's just the truth. And so I'll be forever grateful for that because like my confidence after I knew you're like, by the way, motherfucker, I own 3 of those machines or whatever the hell you own. I was like,
so
oh yeah, dude, I'm out of this motherfucker. Like it's a wrap.
I was like, oh dude, when I seen that one piece for that utility thing, I was like, yeah, bro, I got you. Yeah. It's a wrap. 100%. I'm in. I got it.
And it
went exactly the way that I said it would. Because I got lucky that it went that way. Because it was a roller coaster of events. Holy shit! What was like perceived from the beginning and what we had to like actually do. The guys at RR Pipeline, the team at RR Pipeline crushed it.
Yeah, they did.
I am nothing more than the navigator of that. Them guys executed at the highest level, dude. Yeah. I was so proud of them for going out and like taking that thing. It was very hard to do.
What we should do too, Jake, is next summer we should have like a little bit of some type of cookout for the guys that were involved in the job, just to give just so they could see it like done.
Yeah,
I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah, I think it would go a long way.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Bro, of course, it'd be amazing.
But it kind of goes hand in hand because I was able to help you out there. And what are we doing right now, G?
Yeah,
sitting on my podcast a year ago, it was just getting launched, getting released. And it was maybe a month after you took it to commercial break because the camera's overheating. The audio wasn't hooked up right. And like, it just goes to show the people around you, that environment, what you consume. Dude, we've been elevating each other's bar for like the last, 3-4 years since came here.
Well, and I would say, Jake, once you made the decision and bought out the company, you elevated your own bar. And then you also realized, oh, this is where Cory's been. This is where Cory's at.
Yeah.
Like to a point, right? Not saying anything crazy, just saying
dude,
like
it was like student for the
it was like
time.
that you elevated to the numbers that I was used to talking about.
Yeah.
And then you also start to realize, wait, there's not a lot of people really talking this. And so what was cool for me was to watch your evolution to that. And then you're doing, I see your spreadsheets, it's crazy, bro. Like, but it's one of them things where now it's like normal talk. And you got to figure like, who was I talking to?
Yeah. Dude, that's the thing that I am grateful that I can talk about millions and crazy shit and like
Yeah, it doesn't feel that. It feels kind of normal.
And me and you can talk about it like it's just normal chat, right? Like we're talking about working out. It's not really much different.
No,
That's
it's
one
just-
thing for both of us, I think, this year is really that financial business IQ growth has been
Massive.
huge. We talk about P&L's profit margins as much as we talk about working out anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and side
The
of our
land
conversations-
development was massive. Like, not only to take that on and really essentially be like GCs on the land development, right, all the way through the foundation part. That's why I told Tyler, like, I'm super proud of him, Tyler Sealover, my operations guy, because both of us increased our situation, like just an understanding, not only just in this specific thing, but just overall and solution based. And it was just, it was just a really good, it's funny because some of the stuff I did this year, Island specifically, worked really well, relatively smooth for how difficult to really be truly honest, right? I think we both know that.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of helping hands. Then some other stuff didn't go as well. And so like I look at it as like, dude, it's funny. I get to the end. This is going to sound ridiculous. At the end of 24, and I'm like satisfied, I think, but like not really like all the way. Like we crushed it this year, and then I go, wait, is that really how I think? Because then we executed a fucking island. But so it just goes to show like my expectation on myself and what I'm working for. There, you get to the top of one mountain, you're at the bottom of the next. That's part of the curse a little bit. But I think like I expected us to be able to get that done, Jake.
Absolutely.
Because I know what I'm capable of. I know what Tyler's capable of. I know what you and all the guys that helped are capable of. And so, you know, that was the expectation. As wild as it sounds, I bought the fucking island and I expected to have a house on it then.
Yeah. It doesn't sound wild to me at all.
Well, you know me too.
So entrepreneurship, someone who is grateful for the progress that they made while dissatisfied with the rate at which they made it.
Which is what I just said.
I know.
Literally what I just said.
So The Road Less Stupid, Keith Cunningham, he talks about that in his book. And it's just...
I wish sometimes I wasn't that way, but it just...
It can't help it, dude.
Yeah, I honestly can't help it.
I'll have to show you when we get on recording, but Dr. Doug Brockman, that Driven book, I had an episode with him.
That's cool.
And that book was like transformational for me to understand my genetic side of the craziness. I actually did his assessment, and it shows it's like this big circle, and he has 10 different points for the assessment, like part of the questionnaire. And then it starts in the middle at like 0, and it goes all the way out to 10. Like there's rings all the way around it. And normal is 3. So it shows like this is what the average American's genetic component is made up of. And out of like 3 is normal, and probably 6 to the 10, 7 to the 10 of mine were 10s. Like I am so far outside of that. It's like this right here, and then that's normal. And I had never really digested that until just recently when I was going back to high school. And I was like, no wonder I sucked at school so bad.
Oh, so bad.
I was so different in so many ways, right, wrong, or indifferent. Thank God I figured it out, though.
Yeah, the problem is, Jake, a lot of people don't because the system punts them and then they go down the wrong road.
10%.
I could have been that.
10% of the people.
I would argue we were that for a period of time and then we just kind of shifted, right?
Was. Yeah. I was going down the wrong direction for a long time and just turned direction around and was sick of being, going down that road. But the curse of knowledge, a cognitive bias where we incorrectly assume that everyone knows as much as we do on a given topic. When we know something, it can be hard to imagine what it would be like not knowing that piece of information.
Yeah. I think that, so one of the huge deals of the morning routine is combining it with personal development.
Yes.
And there's a local builder, Diani Homes. They've been around for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. And Dan Diani, who lived here for a long time, moved away, came back. He was one of the guy, Reggie, that I learned from, one of his main clients when I was a kid. So when I first started, Dan Diani's probably like my age. Actually a little younger. He's probably like in his early 40s. In shape. Dude, they had 1,000 job sites going on. It's like 1,000 houses under build at one time. It was crazy, right? At their height, I think, or something like that. So I see him when I'm, 20, 22. I don't see him again until I'm like 42. Now he kind of keeps up a little bit, but whatever. I run into him, and we're having this. He lives downtown Granville now. I run into him at the pub. We're having a cigar, talking all this kind of stuff like me and you talk about. And I've always like super respected him because I always thought he like dude in shape, executing millions, whatever. And he said something that I'm really proud of. He goes, I know that you've been doing all this stuff, and he's like, something's different, G. And I don't know if I told you this story before, but that the personal development, he basically essentially he literally said it to me, like, you're wiser than your age because of what you study. And he goes, I picked up on it early because I haven't seen you in so long. And it meant a lot to me because he's a guy who also operates that way. And, he's 20 years my senior. And so I've really been intentional about trying to make myself better. I think because the education was so lacking when I was a kid, I felt fucking stupid. And I'm not stupid. I'm actually very smart. And I just needed the proper direction of education. And now I'm addicted to it,
You were
right?
never taught how to learn.
I wasn't, or at least the way that I learned, right? And so,
And what to learn.
Well, and I'm learning the things that I really want to know. And so, and I do it at a consistent level, just like I do my exercise. So I think that there's that right there was life-changing for me in so many ways for so many years. And it's so ingrained in how I operate. I couldn't imagine really being any other way.
And that's same thing, dude.
It's massive.
Yesterday was pretty humbling. I left that podcast yesterday borderline speechless with Steve and Jim. Because at the very end of the episode, I let them have the floor for a closing thought.
That's cool.
And I was blown away at what they had said because it was open, whatever you want to say it. Steve reached out to Jim and got my number because he heard me on another podcast, the LNK podcast.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so it started with Jim coming on my show after I took that leap, that commitment there. He comes on my show. Then, because he did that, he went on LNK. And then LNK reached out to me later because of him mentioning it.
That's cool.
Representing us for the transaction of R&R. They reach out to me. I go on that show. Steve Lehman hears it. And he said yesterday, he's like, Jake, I heard what you said on that podcast. And that 1 hour time told me that I can't believe how young you are. I am going to meet him and talk to him.
That's cool.
And then reference Jim Havens, who we've been, Steve and Jim have been in business, deals together for 30 plus years. And it all came full circle yesterday.
That's cool.
And Steve said, you're like a sponge. You have so much information and so many like frameworks and things that you talk about. And you must consume so much, development and content, whatever it is, because of what I talk about with him. And I'm just so blessed that I figured it out, dude.
Bro.
And I want to help other people.
They're recognizing it because they're much more your senior.
Yes.
And they realize, like, this dude's done some work.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
And hearing it from, like, a Jim Havens, who I put at the highest regard. I mean, when I first walked into his house in 2018, I had only known about EBITDA because of a 30-minute conversation prior to walking in there, like a week before. Before that, I didn't even know what it was. And I think about that now, like that leap of faith that he took.
Yeah, helping you guys.
And he knew, though, because he's already seen it.
Yeah.
He'd been in the construction world, like he's seen it. And he knew that we understood the business. We didn't understand business, but we understood the business.
Yeah,
the operation side
That's
of it.
pretty cool.
And so he had full faith in us. And he told me right after that deal happened, he said, Jake, every year for probably the next 5 years, you are going to do something big. Buy a business, start a business, something big. He's like, I see it.
That's cool.
For at least 5 years, maybe 30. But he's like, every year you're going to have one big defining moment of what you do. He's been spot on so far, dude. 5 years in a row, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I didn't do anything this year. Well, max effort, CrossFit Uprising, bought a new house, the podcast.
Yeah. Well, he's seen it because he lived it too.
He knows it.
He knows it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's cool because they then bringing them here, which is really awesome, so they can kind of see like in the 3D version, right, of what some of the, like what my brain is kind of put together, and it's like they know that this is just like this is how the vibe is. It's
so unique, but it's also just authentic.
Yeah,
and that's cool. What makes it so unique.
Yeah,
because it's just what it is.
That's my favorite part about being able to have this kind of like really like clean slate chalkboard of a building to be able to do things like this.
I mean, this room is
Oh, it's
fucking
unbelievable,
epic, dude.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can do this, and then on Friday I'm having my wife's ugly
see.
sweater thing I sent you. So it's like it really can double back as whatever.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
But this environment here, you know, and one of the reasons that I love it so much is because I can come in here. It's not distracting. It's isolated. You can lock yourself in here, and you can be present in what you're focused on.
That's true.
Dude, it's hard to be like dialed in and focused sometimes.
Oh.
And it doesn't take a squeak of the wall or the floor, and I can be off track right now. But coming back here, dude, there's something peaceful about it that allows
I think
me to
it's
operate.
nothing on the walls too.
Nothing that you see as a distraction at all.
And that was sneaky because that wasn't my intention.
Yeah.
I was actually going to put something in between each one of the rungs, but then once I was back here a few times, I'm like, I think that would be wrong. Which is, you know what I mean? So I couldn't be more perfect. So shout out to Ryan because I mean, the infrastructure.
Ryan's the OG.
Yeah, he sure is.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, year in review real quick. Let's just do a rapid fire on it. What was the biggest learning lesson for Cory G this year?
I think that we're often reminded of this, right? As entrepreneurs, that as much as we want the timetable to be in our favor, it just never is. Like it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And that usually right as you want to give up, that's on the next side of it is when it usually pops.
Yep.
And I think that as many times as that's happened to me in my career, it's like I still forget it. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I do think really the last probably 24 months for me has been like pretty in the trench in general, like of just reconfiguring stuff, relooking at how I'm doing things, you know, basically the next evolution of all the businesses and how I operate.
Yep.
And then questioning like, how do I want to personally operate? So yeah, I think it was a good for lack of a better word, like gut check year from a standpoint of like the belief of what I want next.
Yep.
Because to me, my stuff runs in 6 to 8 year, you know, kind of rolling situations.
Yep.
And I think that my next one is getting ready to start. Not necessarily because it's 2025.
Right.
It's just because of all the work I put in, like setting everything up. And so, yeah, I think in the next 24 months, there's a lot coming. I believe it 100%. Like I think me and Tyler went through the island situation to get ready for it. I told him that multiple times. You had to raise up what your capacity is to handle what the business is about to do. I believe that's a million% true.
I for sure believe it. Yeah. You don't know what it is yet, but it's going to happen.
That's coming. So I've felt that before.
The same exact thing for me, I think. You know, 5 years in business, 3 years right out the gate, just dominating.
Mm-hmm.
And then uncertainty comes in, and it's like, whoa, this is new.
Yeah.
Because when it's good right out of the gate, you don't know what hard feels like.
Facts.
To the extent of what it became. And that subtle reminder, I'm an entrepreneur. I own a business. This is just what hard feels like.
Facts.
This is the time that 99% of people want to roll up in a ball and quit. And the reason that I will be able to tell an epic story at the end of this is because I refuse to quit.
Yeah.
But there's a moment, and a pivotal moment, where we all know 12th round, boxing match, 30 seconds left. Dude, we can barely stand up. Our eyes shut from being punched in so many times.
Mm-hmm.
What choice do you make then? Because when it's the worst, 3 feet from gold. We talk about it all the time. You just have to keep going.
Survival sometimes is the win, Jake.
I think there's a lot of businesses in survival mode in 2024.
I would argue a ton.
Yeah. I have not talked to a business owner that did not have a very uncertain, conservative, challenged year.
Yeah. I would
that
agree.
roller coaster went downhill for a lot of people this year.
Yeah. Well, I think for the last maybe couple years, right? So I think it's been
probably two.
Yeah, weeded out a lot of people that aren't real or wanted to give up.
Yep.
I think it challenged a lot of us where it was really good for a period of time.
Yep.
Like when it's really good, you don't have to be that good. See, that's the thing. Like what I dislike when it's difficult because no one wants to choose that. But the reality is, I think historically in my career, I've done the best when it is the most difficult because I'm just one of them people.
Resilience.
I'm resilient. I know how to show up.
And you
know
create
how to
opportunity
show
out of
out
it.
when I have to. I create an opportunity. I challenge myself to create a new way that we operate, do things, expectations. And then if I'm right, which I have been multiple times, and I've been wrong a lot too, but when I'm right, and I think I am on a couple of these things, then there will be that thing towards the end that I will get for it. You know what I mean? I answered whatever the problem was,
Yep.
and hopefully, can kind of fix it. So, yeah.
The one guarantee is it's going to be hard. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be an investment of time, effort, money, sleepless nights, long days. It's going to be hard. And we're all doing this without knowing that we will achieve the thing.
Facts.
But that's why we do it in the first place. Because if we knew we would accomplish whatever we set out to, if it was a guarantee, we wouldn't pursue it. The pursuit of it is what the absolute goal is.
Well, and I think some of the bullshit that we both dealt with, like, I just always think, like, what's this really preparing me for? Something maybe bigger than I can even, like, conceptualize. Right. That's usually what ends up happening.
I mean, this year was one for the record books for me. And, like, I think about the team, around me now and, my assistant and business coach and, like, all these things that we implemented. I'm still dissatisfied with the rate of growth, but, and I feel like I'm very I can validate that very clearly, but nonetheless, I have to remember my expectation is higher than most people can even fathom.
Sure.
That's the first thing. The other part is whenever it's a team of people, there's so many moving pieces and parts, and you can't let your reality get distorted with what you think it should be compared to what is possible within that organization. Mm-hmm. So you have to check yourself every once in a while.
Of course.
And get back to, like, the fundamentals, because we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. And that, from a personal standpoint,
it's important.
If we have big aspirational goals, but we can't eat food that makes us feel better, if we can't fuel the body, the mind with the right things, we're going to fall to that.
Of course.
And it starts there. I truly think that if you had to pick physical or mental, I'd seen this question, and it was, which one do you think is more crucial? The physical development or the mental development? And so it was a very interesting question. And my initial thought was physical, because I can develop myself physically and I can mentally become calloused. I can physically, build myself up, and mental will go with it. But I have never seen someone in a war sit down on their ass and think about something to get done strategically and actually have it come through. If you're a gardener in a war, strategic thinking is not going to get you through a lot of things. So I think that resiliency, that foundation of iron that we have, has built such a untapped and unwavering confidence and ability that,
no question,
when we know the hardship that we go through physically, the mental overcoming the mental challenges are little to no effort in comparison to what we've already done.
Bro, I got a client in Maine. Shout out Matty Strong. He's a power lifter, great engineer, deals with these huge, like, boilers and all kinds of stuff. And he was, like, talking about a business problem he had. And he literally said, them motherfuckers don't know I squatted 805 last night. Like, it's just different. And I know exactly what he means.
Yeah, same.
And it's like, so, like, I don't know. It really, there's like a different layer of callous when the iron is the backdrop of it, especially I think at the call time of 4 a.m. like it is. And yeah, I'm forever grateful to stumble upon that, bro. It really happened out of, like, just necessity, because my life got so busy.
Hey, you connected the dots the way you need to, right?
I connected the dots, and then realized when things started really happening for me that was like a big contributing factor. And I just kept leaning into it more and more. And yeah, it's been like, but people try to act like I'm flexing because it's 4 a.m. I'm like, is it really a flex if you've been doing it for like 15 years?
Or is it just a lifestyle?
Or is it just what you do?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
The lonely road, we talked about it a little bit, but you think about 3 a.m. wake up call, 3:15 on the road. There's not that many people out on the highway, G.
Offer, no.
Why not? Because it's
well, if they are, they're up from the night before.
Right, yeah. But you think about it, like, there's not too many people that do that. And that advantage that is created before 7 o'clock, you have conquered the world, essentially. Your own infrastructure has been developed physically and mentally before 7 a.m.
bro.
The sun's not even up, and most people are not out of bed, and you've already kicked the world's ass that day.
You know, one of the things I don't really say out loud very often, but I have that self-talk. It's like, I just feel like it's helping me fucking beat everybody. And like, whether, oh, fuck that guy, whatever, cool. I don't care. Like,
I'm gonna keep stacking wins.
it's just like, it is a separator. And I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
No, I
like,
don't either.
you know, well, you
can't
got to
convince
sleep
me otherwise.
8, you got to do this, whatever. Sure. Okay, cool. Are you living your dream? Nah, motherfucker, I am.
Yeah.
I got my own fucking island. You think that shit happened by accident?
Yeah.
Or do you think it happened that I get up at fucking 3:20 Monday through Friday for fucking 15 years? You think that contributed to it? I got the answer for you. I know it contributed to it. There's rules on how this world works. The sooner you start to understand them, and the sooner you can delay the gratification, commit to something, be consistent, dream, put action around it, and then, you know, you will get what you want. But you're not going to get it in the time frame you want it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. And it's going to probably take longer than you want it to. I know it's going to.
Yes.
It's going to cost more. It's going to cost more. There's a price for everything.
Yep.
Time with this, time with the family, time. Like, you just got to know what you're signing up for, and if you're willing to pay the price. And not everybody is. And I get that. It's not for everybody,
It's
bro.
not.
It is not for everybody.
Dude, it's
and
not.
I would argue that I don't know that it's like you can like teach it or become it.
No, I don't think you can. There's a genetic, like, delusional dark side that you got to have.
Yeah.
And you got to figure out how that darkness can shine light in the world and for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think we both have it. Like, we both
course.
have adversity in life that still fuels us to this day.
No question.
And it's still there.
Yeah.
Like, it still drives us and always will, because that is our foundational environment. It's just part of it. But when we face it and realize that happened for me to become the person I am today.
No question.
And then everything else becomes very clear.
Yeah. The clarity comes through the study. I mean, that, honestly, Jake, like, I'm telling you, like, I come off the work. There's something about working out, doing things that are difficult in uninterrupted silence parts of it, which it is, especially the conditioning part, you know, studying something that is making you sharper. And then there's a clarity after that is the runner's high, essentially, which most people have heard being referenced, that you can't really get unless you earn it.
Nope.
And that's probably, I really got addicted to less of the conditioning and more of the actual learning. I really don't like the conditioning. I don't like running.
It's just
I'd
the
like
activity.
lunging better, but
It's
I mean, I don't love
the
it.
form of cardio that you choose to do to
Yeah.
get better, stronger while you're
For
doing personal
sure.
development.
I'm really a weightlifter. You know what I mean? And so, like, the other stuff, I just do it because I know I need to.
Yeah.
But when I combine it with the learning part, it changed everything.
Well, because then it creates that, like, clarity that you talked about.
Yeah,
Dude, as soon as
it's
I get
crazy.
done working out, it's personal development to the point of probably, like, negative obsession, because I go home, drop off the gym bag, hop in the shower. That shit doesn't stop until I start executing on the day.
Yep.
And so, like, that little bit of compound effect, that habit has became
Bro.
6 minutes here, 15 on the way home,
Sure.
like 15 on the way here. That's an hour. Like, an hour of time that I'm doing thankless task, and I can learn. Dude, you got to execute. You got to find a way to do it,
Yeah, there's always a way.
because there's 24 hours a day and we all got the same time. So what
Yeah,
we do
no.
with it is...
And I'm not in the business of excuses. Like, you just figure it the fuck out. Everything
Yeah.
that I've, like, accomplished in life had a component of that.
Dude.
I have to just figure
Yes.
it the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are thinking people are out here knowing what they're doing.
No,
I've
absolutely.
told that. I think that's why when I did the island, I started it with that. I have no clue what I'm doing.
I don't think any of us really know.
No.
We're always going in pursuit of something that we don't know what we're
Because
doing.
that's the uncertainty,
Yes.
which means you don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, you know the thing you just got done doing, but you didn't know it before you embarked on it. And so that's the point. Like, everyone's that way.
That's why we chase it.
and you have to be comfortable with that, and that's where it's a little tricky
Yeah.
for people, I think.
You know, it's pretty interesting, because someone asked me the other day, I don't understand how you get up at 3 a.m. And I was like, I just set my alarm clock. That's literally it. It's that easy.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's just what it
It's
is.
a black and white answer.
It is. Well, it was a high school kids too, so it was pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, do you ever take naps? It's like, fuck yeah, every night.
That's a great answer, Jake.
10 to 3, that's a nap,
That's
right?
a great, it is, basically.
But you callous your body, you callous your mind. You know, is 6 hours of sleep ideal? 5 hours of sleep ideal? Probably not. Science would probably tell you
I
otherwise.
get 2 more on the weekend.
measure the person's adaptability, willingness to get better.
Yeah.
And then how do you execute on your sleep? I sleep faster. You sleep faster. We sleep
Straight
better.
from Arnold, yeah.
It's short. It's high quality though.
Super high quality. Yeah.
So I've been very intentional about like taping my mouth shut, open up my nose so I breathe through my nose
Yeah.
better. My sleep, I
like
wear earplugs
working on your
sometimes.
sleep quality. Yeah.
I think it's
important.
just as crucial because our training is only as good as our recovery.
Yeah.
Your level of training directly correlates to your ability to recover from it. If you're not recovering very well, if you're getting hurt a lot, why don't you study and obsess about your recovery like you do your training?
For sure.
I think it goes hand in hand. All right, tell everyone as we wrap up, G, all about I Want Abs again.
Sure.
Let's circle back around to that. If you want to have change in your life, commit.
Yeah, boy.
I Want Abs, the commitment to a new lifestyle, the Max Ever lifestyle. Hit them with it, G.
Yeah, so the registration opens up January 1st, maxevermuscle.com. Once again, you all have everything laid out on the Cory G Fitness app, from what diet you're supposed to follow, the workouts, the supplements. The landing page on Max Ever Muscle you'll click, it'll tell you exactly what to do. Take your before and after. We will not post them online unless you give us, permission after you have your transformation. So don't worry about that. But there's people all over the world that do it. And, you could win a Mercedes, which is sitting right outside the door here.
Which is epic, by the way.
Which is
really
epic,
nice.
super nice, white on black. You could win a Rolex, which is pretty good too. And or you could have a night with you and your family at my island.
Muscle Island.
At
Cory
Muscle
G.
Island. So I think the
Jeez.
prizes are super cool. But not only that, with the new model of being a subscriber at Max Effort, you're in it for $100.
And dude,
The opportunity that you can
are
get for
massive.
$100.
Massive.
Come to the in-person events, meet the other people in the community.
They've been a huge success, dude.
Oh, bro, it's really cool, and it was a component we were missing. Like I love the
That
events.
in-person experience is awesome, man.
It's literally results lifestyle experience. So if you really want a new lifestyle, you need somebody to help you guide you through it. I'm the person for you, and then you'll have a community and experience. I think that is unlike anything else. I mean,
I know it is. It's unbelievable.
I planned it to be that way.
I know. It's almost like it was by design.
Yeah. Well, honestly, shout out to the island because during the island process when I came up with the idea.
Yeah.
And that's what that
Because
uncertainty
life
of like
is an
that.
experience, and the ones that like magnitude and resonate with us in that moment, dude.
I was standing there and I just thought, if I could share this with the entire community a few times a year, would they want to come here? And I'm thinking, I think they would want to come here.
I think so. If you haven't checked it out, you should go on IG
Yeah.
and check it out because it's absolutely
Cool.
iconic.
Yeah, thanks for all your
So
help, Jake.
12 weeks?
It's 10 weeks,
10
actually.
weeks.
Yeah,
So
so the
it's-
registration will be open from January 1st to January 15th initially. Sometimes people will push us to try to like extend it,
Yeah.
but that's where, you really just need to commit in the first 2 weeks of the year and get your shit together. That's the real talk.
Yeah.
After the fucking bowl games are over, get your shit together. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, like it'll be 10 weeks from that date. We will have a big event at the end of it too in person, which will be super fun. And I'm really excited to see how well everyone does this year.
That's awesome. 70 days for the rest of your life, dude.
Yeah. It'll
you commit
set you
to
up.
70 days and you will never, ever look back.
No, you'll
So
never
that's
look. You'll
such
never
a
look.
short amount of time.
People need to really work on their commitment to your initial point because that's not a super long time. You should be able to do it, and you'll be really happy that you did.
Commit to 70 days. The absolute worst thing that could happen is you end up right back in the place you started.
Yeah, which is impossible if,
Right.
if you follow what I tell
Not
you.
even on the docket.
No.
But you could be on Muscle Island,
Hanging out with us,
hanging out, driving Mercedes, rocking and
rocking and
rolling,
rolling. Have an island for a night.
and you create a lifestyle with results that leads to this experience of never looking back.
Yeah, if you want a lifestyle that actually gets you the results that you've wanted, I can teach it to you.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we live a pretty good life, G, and I think we take our shirts off and don't look too bad either.
Yeah,
so I
I
think
mean,
it's
we're always doing that.
dude, it's a solid win.
It's a solid win. I think it's something you're going to want to be a part of. That's
Absolutely.
straight up. That's how
I cannot imagine not being a part of it now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think I'm super blessed to be a part of the whole entire Max
Yeah,
Effort
being part,
mafia.
having you being part of the ownership group's been amazing, Jake.
Yeah,
and you coming to the events and starting to know some of the community and them knowing you from this
It
platform,
was
which is
pretty
really
wild.
cool.
Like a lot of the outreach that came from
Yeah.
the events, I was shocked. It
It's
was
awesome.
pretty cool. Yeah.
No, really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Making an impact, man.
Appreciate it.
Trying to unlock greatness.
Hell yeah.
So, Iron Infrastructure Podcast. That's Cory G Fitness, the CEO, and we're out.
Peace.
This episode is brought to you by Max Effort Muscle. For all your supplement needs, go to maxeffortmuscle.com.